way I do things. Like me knowing I was getting out, like whatever knowledge that I had in my brain, I was like, I'm just gonna pass on to these dudes because one of these guys could be the next sergeant major of the Marine Corps. Or like this guy, this next dude, or this PFC over here,
Mm-hmm.
PFC Dare Petney might be, the next like super squad winner or whatever the case was.
Yeah.
Like I had such like a forward thinking process with it that I was like, I'm just gonna try to give these guys whatever they need, not even just as Marines, but as men.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, yeah, my biggest thing was you're a man before you're a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like that was definitely my biggest high, and I think like trying to think of like the biggest low. I mean I think I I oh man, that's tough honestly because a
There's a
lot
lot
of it
there.
you think like about stuff while you're in,
Right.
but then you look back, it's like really wasn't that bad. But I think just I think towards the end, my biggest low was like kind of getting more involved in the political side of things.
Right.
It's like the longer you stay in, the more political it gets. I think,
Right. Yeah.
um, and that kind of I don't know. I don't like to conform to what other people tell me to do, which I know is like huge in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I was never a yeller, and like that was kind of that was like the popular thing to do.
Right.
Was
Yeah.
like rah guy, and I was never like that. Um, so I think my biggest low was like finding like achieving all my goals in the Marine Corps, but then being that transitional period of like, what do I do next?
Mm-hmm.
It was lonely, man, because I was like, okay, I did the squad leader thing, I did all this stuff, like got back from super squad, then I went over to work for the regimental gunner with Gunner Marine, and then I was like, what do I do next? I was so back and forth whether I should get out or stay in,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a low time, definitely. That was probably, you know what? Yeah, that was 100% the lowest point I had was like that last, because when I reenlisted, so when I did reenlist, it was like very seamless.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I knew I wanted to, so I didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
This time I was like, I have no idea. Like, I want to get out, but is it the right thing to do? Like it was like, and I'm sure like you probably experienced something similar, and I think a lot of people experience that, whether they say they hate the Marine Corps or they're
Mm-hmm.
ready to get out or not. Like everyone always has that voice in the back of their head, like, dude, you could stay in, and like it's not a hard life. Like yeah, we deploy, go to the field, all that, but you can basically map out all the way to your retirement pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Play your cards right. So that was my lowest point, trying to finally come to the conclusion that I was going to get out because I knew walking away from something, the only thing I knew since I was an 18-year-old punk kid graduating high school to being 27 at the time when I got out, I was like, dude, this is scary, man. Like, I'm literally like, do I start over fresh or I just ride this good momentum that I have as far as,
Yeah.
being in good standing with a lot of like higher ups that could have connections to like get me to wherever I wanted to go in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely the biggest low for sure.
Yeah, and you definitely hit a few parts like the politics and stuff like that. But like, what are the most negative parts that you took away from the Marine Corps that you individually like wish you could have changed or done something, or just wish the Marine Corps would just start implementing changes? Like, is it the like the careerism or something like that, or protecting your own path in the Marine Corps to make sure like you get that promotion or you get that duty location? There's always like the Blue Falcon, the Black system in the military. Is there anything you saw that could have been easily, isn't even like just a mindset change that you wish could be changed?
Yeah, so I think so. A couple things. It's kind of maybe they go hand in hand. I don't know. Maybe it'll make more sense once I talk about it. So I think as far as the NCO as an individual, I wish the mindset would be different because I think once guys picked up sergeant, then they like were very obsessed with how their fit reps looked.
Yeah.
And that's when a lot of I saw in my peer group and just like in general, I would see so many guys just like do things just to do it for a fit rep,
Mm-hmm.
for the fit rep bullet point, which is fine. I'm not saying fit reps, obviously, you want to make sure are good because you want to get promoted. You have to take care of your own career. No one else is going to do it for you. I get that. But my mindset was always take care of your Marines and your fit rep will come.
Right.
It'll come. I'm not going to worry about something I'm just gonna do my job and do it the best I know how, and then everything will kind of play out the way it's supposed to. Like I'm not gonna sit here, but and it just it frustrated me because then I felt like the junior Marine was getting the short end of the stick with that because people are so focused on, well, I need to pick up staff, so I need an awesome fit rep. I'm like, dude, who gives a honestly?
Yeah.
Fit rep will come. And then I think another thing I kind of observed on my way out was the squad leaders didn't really have as much freedom as even
Mm.
when even like a year difference from when we were on the workup to when we got back, and then like being in the gunners cadre, observing all these different squads in the on the base, like they just like having to like a squad leader shouldn't have to ask for permission to like teach a hip pocket class with their guys or like do CLS review or whatever the case is. Like there's a difference. Yeah, don't haze your Marines, but like you can go train your Marines.
Right.
Like the squad leader should be the sole responsibility, like have the sole responsibility in training his Marines. And for me as a squad leader, if like say Clippard ever came up and was like, you need to do this, this, and this, I would take it. I would be offended because I'm like, well, I'm doing a job because the platoon commander had to tell me to do this.
Right.
Like you should already be proactive
Mm-hmm.
as a squad leader. And I think a lot of guys were afraid to. I think it was a combination of guys were afraid to take charge because they were in a new leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think they were starting to be micromanaged very heavily. Because especially like with the big ranges like Morgan's Well and
Mm-hmm.
410, it's very scripted.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's look awesome and be like the best. And they were more focused on that than getting good training.
Right.
And that was kind of rough to watch because I'm like, dude, like who? Because my mindset again was like, I don't give a what people think about me. I don't care what people think about my squad. I'm gonna do what I know, what I believe is right, and I'm gonna train how I believe is right. I take constructive criticism well, but I like at the end of the day, I don't like if someone's like another sergeant in another squad's like Sergeant Higgs is a piece of shit. I'm like, I don't give a think. Like as long as my guys are taken care of and they're happy and they're good and morale's good, like I don't care. So, and I think a lot of people just started caring a lot what other people thought, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, you definitely, I mean, it sounds like you're echoing a lot of the internal conversations the NCL leadership had amongst themselves. So I definitely agree with you. You know, even, you know, I was just a team leader at the time, but I felt like when I joined the Marine Corps and was going in the infantry, I thought like I was going to be with the squad leader and we were going to be training like every single day and stuff like that. That's what I always heard and stuff like that from guys who went in before me. But when I got there, they were always in the company office. Like if we were in the rear, they were always in the company office 100% of the time. Then they're like, oh, go train your Marines. Like, yeah, okay, awesome. But I had no idea what I was doing. And so it was definitely difficult for me to formulate, because again, I came from security forces. I can't hide it. Like that's just who I was. You know, that was my path. I didn't choose it, but that's the path I took. And when I entered, you know, my leadership position, I had no idea what I was doing. And then what helped me was the lower level leadership, the lance corporals and stuff like that, and going to them. And that's where I think like that's the family aspect, and that's something I'll always hold on to. Like you know, like Jordan and Gettle and all those guys from 3rd Platoon and the Afghan deployment, like I saw them take control of the platoon because the squad leaders were always in the company office and stuff like that. And you said scripted. Like for some reason, I thought a lot of the training was scripted. Like I thought it was supposed to be random and it was supposed to force you to take, you know, make quick, rapid decisions and stuff like that. But there's just so many times I just felt like I only had to go left or I only had to go right. And if I didn't, like my squad was like, look, I told you to go right. And I was like, you know, am I really developing? And again, my squad leader was amazing. Like I love Vasquez to death, and he has a lot of traits that you had, and that's why I've always looked to you and like that's the squad. Like you were the epitome of a suicide squad leader, in my opinion, and I think that's why you stood out, and I think that's why you were selected to go to Super Squad, and I think that's why you won Super Squad, and you just said it, like you didn't give like what other people thought about you or your squad. You knew who your guys were. You knew how to take care of your guys, and you're going to do it in the method you chose and you knew how, and you saw results, obviously. And I just wish there was more of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And first, like, super humbled by your words, man. That's awesome. I
No,
appreciate
yeah, and that's
it.
100% for the heart too.
But yeah, man, like that's like leadership 101 about your guys. Like
Right, guys
if you
first.
like that's like half the battle, man. Like the tactics and all that comes that'll come because we do enough training and enough like TDGs and enough reading where if you have enough experience and time, it's gonna come. Some people develop a sense of it a little bit faster, and whatever the case is. But like, just give your guys is gonna go so far because once your guys know that you care about them truly and not just like some cliche like I have an open door policy, but then you like they come to you and you're like fuck off, I'm busy. But like if you truly care and they come to you and you actually like sit down and have a conversation, like, dude, don't talk to me. I'm Derek Higgs. Like I'm not Sergeant Higgs. Like what's going on, man?
Right.
Like because sometimes that dudes need that, man. Like you're human. We're human beings. Like that's like what blew my mind more than anything was people like I'm like a fucking robot, dude. Like I have feelings.
Yeah.
I have bad days. Like I'm not superhuman, Superman squad leader. Like I'm gonna struggle some days, and that's where guys like Hogger, Dever, and Degnan, and all those dudes, like Dick. Dick is like probably him and Hogger are like my two like examples I always think of like mutual trust because like Dick like understood he would know when I'm stressing. He's like, "What do you need me to do?" Even when he
Yeah.
wasn't a team leader, and he was like, "What do you need?" Or Hoggard, same way, man. Like him and I had a very good dynamic. Him being my APL, and it just got to the point where like he kind of already knew what his day would look like.
Mm.
He knew I'd probably be again stuck in the company office for 90% of the day, so